Taken here, taken and talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today I would like to talk about manifesting, specifically if you're trying to manifest something that's more time consuming, it's a bigger goal. You know, just by the nature of the dream, the goal that is going to take some time. Um, Good examples of this are things where you're not just trying to lose a couple pounds, you're trying to drastically reduce your size. Let's say anything over like 20 pounds. Honestly, 10 pounds for some people could be feel like a drastic thing, but 20 pounds or more, that's something. That's not something you typically want to drop really quickly. So for your health, you want it to take some time. Anything over that more, definitely it's going to take time, right? So you've kind of settled in on the idea that that's a journey. It's a long-term goal, you know, but the journey is part of it. Home ownership, especially if you know you're not technically sitting in a position that, maybe you're in a position to purchase a home. Right now, based on today's standards and whatever the situation is, we're not going to block the manifestation by dwelling on that. But you understand that if your goal is to purchase a home with a mortgage in a traditional approach, you've wrapped your mind around there might be some time in this for me to get in a position where I qualify for a mortgage or something like that. It all depends on how you're manifesting. Because if you're just manifesting to have the home and how you get it is really not what you manifesting, well, that's a different conversation. But like I said, if you are saying, well, I want my credit a certain way, I want to qualify, and that's where your manifestation is, that's a process. So you know that's going to take some time. Um, Business, if you're starting business, if you have a business and you're trying to grow the business, you're trying to expand your business, that's a process in itself because along with growth and expansion comes other investments, resources, things like that, right? And those things take time to start to put together. So you kind of get the idea. So you have these big dreams, goals similar to something like what I described. And let's talk about the three things that I have found are something that I have to contend with. I'm going to start with the first thing, which is obstacles. Obstacles, obstructions, delays, issues. It's I would like to tell you that every time I've manifested something into reality, there was no hiccups, there was no issues. That would not be true. The best thing that I've come up with that I tell myself, and I truly believe, is that the universe is not a quiet, simple, straight path kind of place. Everything around us is vibrating. Nothing is technically still. We just can't see it with the naked eye. So if we know this, if we know that that's the case, that chaos is really ensuing all around us, we just have the perception because of our vision, the naked eye, that everything is just still, nothing's moving. But everything is moving. There's particles in the atmosphere that we can't see with our eye. There's no straight path to anything. Once you get below the cellular level, like everything is moving. There's no clear space. And even the space in between the matter, the dark matter, the black, apparently that's something too. So there's no empty space. So let alone a clear path. That's all just something our perception. So obstacles will occur. How you handle them is really part of that's really the issue. Um, so let's talk about when I say obstacles, obstructions, delays. Let's talk about what I mean. For most of us, the low impact will be, but it can have a high impact on how we feel. Are people speaking negativity over what we're manifesting? Low key, you speaking negativity over what you say you're manifesting? Circumstances around you where you're working on expanding your small business and you're still working a full-time job and then you lose your job. And that was how, you paid your bills until you got the business up and running. And you have to now take your energy to look for another job, still work on this business. You have more motivation to make the business go through, but realistically it's just not there yet and you still have bills to pay. And you've been taking money from your job to fund said business and invest in it to get it going. So that's a heck of an obstacle, right? That's a heck of an obstacle. In that situation with things like that, one, I'm actually doing road opener work, even after what I said about there's no clear path. So we're gonna this is where magic comes in because I practice magic. So this is where we're gonna do a road opener spell to clear a path so that this can go with a little bit less obstruction. Hopefully, that's the intention. You can put that in there. I'm going to be doing some protection work. Protect me and what, this manifestation I'm investing my time and energy in. This thing I'm manifesting. I want to protect that from negative influence. Those are the main things you can do. That's within your realm and reason. You can do those things regardless of how you feel, even if the fear is creeping in on what am I going to do, you can still do these things. You can still take that energy, transmute it into protecting that thing. So we know what we're protecting it from. Let those fears come to the surface. Let it kind of, what you're really afraid of, and then direct that to the universe saying, this is what's not, well, you wouldn't say this is what's not going to happen, but basically the counter of everything you just said. When you do spells, you don't want to focus on what you don't want. You want to focus on the opposite of what you don't want. So don't say, I don't want this to happen. Speak the opposite of the negative. This is what I want to happen. Because if that's happening, the bad thing can't happen. At least that's how I do it. Anyway. So yeah, you get the gist of that. But yeah, knowing is half the battle. Knowing you might have some resistance, even if it's just negative thoughts. You can control that, so hopefully that's as bad as it gets. But sometimes it could be other things that feels like it's out of your control, and you're reacting to. Be careful how you react, because you don't want to spend too much time on your reaction that it derails everything that you're trying to manifest. But be aware obstacles are going to occur. Like I said, just knowing that can kind of give you a little bit of comfort. Like things might happen, but I still am believing this is going to happen for me, this thing that I'm bringing into my life. Number two, sometimes the goals change. Sometimes the plan changes. Sometimes the circumstances have completely altered what it was you were manifesting for. For instance, you wanted home ownership. You dreamt of purchasing a house. You've been doing all the manifesting, the spells and spells and spells to get the credit together, get the finances together, and a relative leaves you a house. Are we still manifesting? Maybe you are. Maybe that wasn't the house you wanted, but maybe that was just enough and you're happy. Like, you kind of don't feel like going through the hoops anymore. You got a house. You don't you don't care anymore. So what do you do in a situation like that in this long-term plan? Technically, you're still in the realm of everything that you kind of was asking for. The universe just showed up with a house. In a situation like that, I would still take the energy of trying to be ready, like for a mortgage, and you're really manifesting to get a mortgage, more so than a house. What I would do in a situation like that is I would direct my energy, transmute that energy toward that, and just toward, building, metaphorically speaking, because the house is already built, a home for me in this new home. I would transmute that energy to that. Still using the same vibrations, the same energy. We're just redirecting it into a different approach with our manifestation. And then this becomes the big thing you're manifesting, turning this other person's house into your home, whatever that looks like. So that's number two. If things change, basically transmute that energy. All is not lost. And that was just kind of like a happy note. Realistically, there's sometimes things, those obstacles I talked about can completely derail everything. And it might derail it for the foreseeable future. So now you have to rethink this thing that you wanted. Does it even make sense? If the job thing, so you're not working the job, so you move into a rural area. Come to find out you kind of like living out there. The idea of, this fast career and, all the things that came with that doesn't make sense because you have a totally different life. It's okay to transmute the energy that you were putting into these manifestations because you took a different turn. That's okay. Just transmute it to something else or redirect it to something else. That's all. So that's, again, wrapping up two. So the third thing, write things down. Write down. I like up making a list. Write down in a list form what it is you're manifesting. This is not a scripting exercise, so go ahead and make it so that it's in a list format. So you want a house, you want a dog, you want to move to a new city, you want a vacation, you want whatever it is that you're saying you want. You want a new wardrobe, you want to lose 50 pounds, you want all the things. You want to stop taking medication, you want your hair longer, you want your hair short, whatever your situation is. I would write all those goals down, all those dreams, those things that you desire, the change that you want. I would write those things down on a list. If you've already done that in the process of manifesting initially, do it again. Write it someplace else, write it in the same place on a new page, but write it down again. There is a spell being cast by simply putting pen to paper. Please know that that's an actual spell. That is a prime example. You know how when there's some business going on, anything, the number one thing you hear people say, can I get that in writing? Oh, I'm going to need that in writing. I don't believe it until I see that in writing. There's something to be said for something just being down. Prime example also, have you noticed that especially our older generation, older being like, I want to say 65 and up for sure, like 60 and up, when they see something in print, they believe it. And print is relative because even digital. So if something's on Facebook, essentially, you notice like your grandparents and stuff like that, or mom or whatever, dad, they believe it because in their day, if it was written down, it was considered facts. So they kind of still hold on to that. So there's this belief, essentially, when something is written down, it got serious, it's real, that's what it is. Of course, that's not true with everything. You can write down anything. But using that energy, using that collective energy, by the way, which adds power to it even more so, keep that in mind. So when you're losing alignment with your goals, when it's challenging, when it seems like things are not going in the direction you had hoped they would go in or that you didn't imagine they would go in, and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, just go back to the basics and just write what you want down. Just write it down. There is something for this. It does something. It's the reason we tell people to journal. It does something to your mind. It does something to your spirit. It's kind of like you've handled it in that moment. Like there's a finality to it. Um, at least for everything that's happening in that moment. Like, okay, so it's on my paper. All right, so you've stored this someplace, so it can happen now. Even though nothing's really changing in your environment, nothing else is happening, but that magic that you just cast writing that thing down, yes, you did. It's you just sent something into the universe once you did that. Whenever you get feelings of overwhelm or the obstacles are getting to be a bit much, or people in your ear saying things that feels like it's trying to derail you as well, write it down. Just go ahead and make your list again. Same list. If you want to add some tweaks, it's okay. But make the list, write it down. It's perfectly fine. I think that is a wonderful solution sometimes when things seem like it's taking too long, when all the other things I just mentioned are happening. It can really boost kind of how you feel about what you're manifesting. It can make you kind of remember, why am I doing this again? What am I into? Why do I want this? Why do I want more business? Why do I want this big house? That sort of stuff. And not in a negative way, but what if the reason is because I want the big house because I love when my family comes over and I want them to be comfortable. I want them to know they can always be here because I want my kids to live at home with me and I want them to save their money and, live a good life. And I want them to be able to travel and do all the things, and having this extra space and they can have their privacy does that for them and they get to enjoy their life. I want my business and I want my business to grow because I want to be able to be self-sufficient. I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of other people. I want to be someone in my community that people can come to for help, even for monetary help if need be, to help like charities and organizations and just community development programs and stuff like that. Like, it would be great to be in a position to be somebody who can make real change for the people around me. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I like to grow my business, not just so I can be rich, that sort of thing. So there's usually more to it than that, and it helps you kind of be aligned to that, which gives you a sense of passion and purpose all over again, and you're ready to go out there and attack those goals and receive from the universe all that you're manifesting. So I hope this has been helpful. This is where my headspace is at, and I just kind of wanted to share because this is literally all three of these things right now. I'm kind of in this space, so I'll keep you guys posted. But I'm walking the talk. I'm walking the talk. That's why I thought I'd share it. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. Please like, subscribe, share. Hit the join button to join Leap Taken membership. Subscribe. Did I say subscribe? Yeah, subscribe. And then go ahead and go to leaptaken.com. Check out the services that I offer there as well. All right, thanks again for watching. Bye.